Shalom, shalom. Right, back at you with another news lesson. Right, and to that, you say, Kal Halayam La Alahaina wa Yahweh Bashim Rashai Bashim Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great mission who did well. Shalom unto the brothers that pushing his works in truth and in sincerity. Shalom unto the Israelites who have been scattered among the nations, and shalom unto the few and faithful Akwatiyam who is listening and learning. Right, there's Brother Kratazar from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp out of Trinidad and Tobago. Alright, so we're going into the news. Where Yemen, striking, where they launching with their missiles, to the US aircraft carrier. Right, let's go into it now. Let's take it in.
This time, 3 attacks on U.S. warships in the last 48 hours. Despite relentless American airstrikes, the Iran-backed group refuses to back down. And now, U.S. President Donald Trump is raising the stakes, warning Iran of dire consequences if the attacks continue.
The war is accelerating. U.S. fighter jets are pounding Houthi strongholds for a third straight day. Fighter jets from the USS Harry S. Truman, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier stationed in the Red Sea, are carrying out precision strikes against multiple locations. Unlike previous administrations, Trump has given U.S. Central Command full authority to launch preemptive strikes against Houthi positions at any moment. The White House insists these attacks are defensive, but their scope is widening fast.
This is also not an endless offensive. This is not about regime change in the Middle East. This is about putting American interests first.
The Houthis claim to have carried out a third strike on U.S. aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman. On the other hand, there is anger rising against U.S. Thousands take to the streets of the Yemeni capital Sana'a, chanting anti-U.S. slogans.
Message to Trump and the U.S. Zionist aggression against Yemen, we tell them, know who you're challenging. Don't challenge us, don't strike Yemen. Yemen is a graveyard for invaders. We have these rockets that can reach Israel and the White House.
Right, so yeah, that, right, so, these are things, it's part of, the rumors, of wars, all the threats, of wars and so on, so, right, all these things, going into, building up for the World War III, that you can see that coming to pass, and, when the Lords say something, it's going to happen. Right, so we just hit a little precept. This is Matthew 24 and verse 6. Right, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. Right, the end is not yet. Right, we read in the NLT. Right, where it said, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars. But do it panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. Alright, because I have a lot of things that have to take place. That had to take place before the end come. Right? So of course we know, all these wars, that you're hearing about, all these things, is basically just the build up. Is the build up, for that to reach into that hardcore for World War III, right? Where many countries, are going to be in war, right? Yeah, right. So we're moving on to the earthquakes, that was taking place, right? Or just video.
What the fuck?
It's happening. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Right, so the one here with the skyscraper, was under construction. Son. So with the Lord is sending out his wrath, and part of sending out his wrath is by the natural disasters, right? And it had a lot of workmen was in that building, right? And a lot of them died, right? A lot of them died. Some of them went through a quick death. Some went through, a painful death before they pass, right? And all these things is the Lord work. All these things is the Lord wrath. You understand? Because because they're doing things, where they're not supposed to do, right? So, and it's all kind of iniquities, things that going on, all the false idols and stuff, that, because the Lord is a jealous power. You understand?
A powerful 7.7 earthquake causing widespread damage in Myanmar and Thailand. People throughout the city felt the shaking, with many running into the streets.
It's been quite an ordeal, to be honest with you. I was on my way to a client meeting on an elevated expressway when what I initially thought was a burst tire in the car, because it was sort of swaying a bit. So I pulled over to the left-hand side, and I noticed a lot of the other cars around me were doing the same. And then suddenly we just seen the collapse of the building right in front of us on the left-hand side, which is an area called Jatuljak, near very famous Jatuljak markets. It was a building which is currently under construction, and the whole thing just collapsed. And obviously, my initial thought was that if anybody is in that building, then 100% it's going to be fatalities for sure. Earthquakes are not common in Bangkok or in Thailand. I've been living here for over 10 years. This is the first earthquake I've ever experienced here. So I think it took most people off guard. People weren't expecting it, or they didn't recognize the signs of an earthquake. There was a lot of fear, a lot of panic, because people don't know what's going to happen next. Are any other buildings going to come down? Are there any flow-on effects on an expressway even, which is elevated? Is that going to crumble?
Alright, so let me dive into the scripture here. Right, this is Matthew 24:7, right? For nation shall rise against nations, which we have seen in the past video, with the different wars and so on, right? And kings and kingdoms against kingdoms, right? Which we are seeing, right? And there shall be famine, because there are famine in various places, right? That taking place, pestilence that going on in various places, right? And earthquakes in diverse places, right? Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? All these are the beginning of sorrows, all right? And you can even see since 2025, in the beginning of the year it start off with a bang, things just going on, things just happening. You understand? So let me go back to the videos. I think I have one more video here. Right, so that just so share some light on this video here. So hope that you was edified. And to that, I like to say Kalhalayam, La Allah Nawa, Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakodash, the honors unto the apostles and elders of greatness, so who will well. Shalom unto the brothers that pushing his works in truth and in sincerity, all the folk ones of earth. And shalom unto you, Akwatiam, listening, and leading, and being your husband. Till next time, shalom.